Hi, my name is Dr. Denise, and this is this week's A Dose from Dr. Denise, where I hope to teach, show, and inspire you how to release your God-given health and life potential. It is a really, really pretty Sunday here. The sun is shining, there's a crisp chill in the air, and there's definitely a feeling of excitement in the air for me because this week I open up the doors to my practice called A Dose from Dr. Denise, shockingly enough, a chiropractic and mindfulness practice. And I'm really excited about that because I believe that God is working through me and I want to just share my light and love with the world. It's one of the reasons I record these videos, and so I hope that I'm recording something that's helping others. I think that it is. Each week I try to listen to God. Well, every day I listen to God actually. But when specific messages come to me, I write them down and I percolate on them each week, and then I record these videos. And so that's where this energy comes from. And my goal is that you take this and apply it in your own life in whatever way it can help you. So this week, there's two principles that I want to share with you that I just think are absolutely crucial if you can remember them and remind yourself of these two principles, not only in bad times, but in good times, in challenging times, in everyday moments. Life is just simply better. So I'm going to share those two principles with you, give you a couple examples of them, and then we're going to close with a prayer. So the first principle is this too shall pass. This too shall pass. The only constant in life is change. And you know, a lot of times when we say that this too shall pass, we usually are saying that to someone when they're going through a challenging time. And so certainly it does help us when we are going through something difficult. And we all know, because we can look back on our life when we've gone through a challenging time. And the fact that you're here now means it passed. And so this too shall pass is pretty much the number one fact of the planet, that change is always going to happen. And so I just want to remind you that not only to say that in difficult times, in difficult circumstances, but to just remind yourself of that in everyday moments, and some that are blissfully wonderful, that moment's going to pass too. You know, last Friday I had dinner with my sons and they each brought a friend. We were at Rutgers. And it was like this wonderful 3 hours of time together. We sat, maybe that we were there for 2 hours, but we all put our phones away, and each of my sons brought a friend, and there was 5 of us, and it was wonderful. I'm still enjoying that moment. I'm still squeezing time out of that moment. And I reminded myself, absolutely reminded myself, as soon as I sat down, Denise, be present. Don't be thinking about anything you need to do later today, tomorrow. Be right here with your sons, because at this moment, it's about quality time, not quantity time anymore with my sons. So remind yourself in the good and the bad that this too shall pass. Be here in the present moment. A few weeks ago, I was at a Lowe's. And there was a mother there that had a child in the cart. One was pulling on her shirt tails and one was taken off running across the store. And she was at her wit's end. And I don't know what made me do it, but I walked up to her and I said, ma'am, because in Texas, everybody says ma'am and sir, which I think is awesome. I said, ma'am, my sons are 20 and 22. And I just want to tell you that I would give anything to have one moment again where one was pulling on my shirt tail and one I was pushing in the cart. I said, because one of them right now, they're both taller than me, but one of them is 6'3" and is really taller than me. And it kind of broke her cycle. She welled up with tears and she thanked me. And what was I telling her? I was telling her, this too shall pass. This moment's going to pass. So stay here in the moment, feel it, no matter what is it, whatever it is. I've been challenging you to try not to label things in your life as good or bad, but just feel as things are happening to you. Allow your emotions to be your GPS and just feel the moment. Be present in the moment and recognize that this too shall pass. And the second principle, which is equally important, is another T, which is thy will be done. Thy will be done. And I know that sounds very religious for some of you that don't necessarily have a specific religious practice. But when I hear the word thy, of course I think of God, but I think of just that universal power that exists in all matter. There is a universal intelligence that's created everything, right? That all, when you study just a little bit about quantum physics or a little bit about the universe, it's so in awe that we can't even like fathom how amazing it is. All I know is that universal intelligence lives in me. In fact, as far as chiropractic goes, it's the first principle of chiropractic that there's a universal intelligence that exists in all matter. And that's why I'm a chiropractor. And so, not to get off too much on a side note, although I tend to do that a lot, but chiropractic is so much bigger than back pain. And so I want to make sure that intelligence is being released. And so when I say thy will be done, all I'm simply saying is give me that universal intelligence and allow it to be expressed through me. Now, God also gives us free will. He gives us the choice to make whatever choices we want. And so no matter what happens in our life, his will is being done. So it's one of two things. In fact, I read it this week, and C.S. Lewis had a quote in a wonderful book that I'm reading this week. C.S. Lewis says that there's two kinds of people in this world. One whom God says, one whom you say to God, thy will be done. And the other person is God says to you, alrighty then, have it your way. In either case, his will's being done because one, his intelligence is coming through me and expressing, and it's awesome. And in the other, I'm expressing my own free will. Sometimes it ends up good, and sometimes it ends up not so good because my ways are beneath his ways. My ways are not as high and wonderful and powerful as that energy that created the universe. And so when I say thy will be done, and I remind myself of that every morning in my prayer time, Lord, may your will be done in my life. I want to tap into that energy versus Denise, the ego's energy, which sometimes can be really good and sometimes it can be not so good. So I want to finish up in a prayer that I wrote for you. But remember those two principles, right? That, as my cat is pushing my phone, remember those two principles, that this too shall pass, and ask God, thy will be done. Thy will be done. So let me finish in this prayer. I got this from a lesson 188 in A Course in Miracles. Lord, may your peace shine in me now, and may it shine in my heart and around the world. May that peace caress every living thing, and may that living thing feel my blessing now and forever. May you know with certainty, may I know with certainty that your light shines in me, and may I always feel that light and that presence. And please take my wandering thoughts, God, and bring them back into alignment with your thoughts, so that my thoughts are your thoughts, and then I'm able to share those thoughts with the world in both my actions and in how I be. God bless. Have a wonderful week. Peace out, and I'll see you next Sunday.